Okay, not to sound like a alarmist or a clickbait headlines or something, but this could be the largest and most important story that is being ignored and has been ignored for a very long time with the media. So my name is Jake with JakeDucey.com. If you enjoy today's episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification on this channel to get notified for future videos. Otherwise, YouTube won't show you. Hit the like button on this, and right there down below is my free success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's my free success hypnosis to reprogram your mind. I always say, brainwash yourself before the world brainwashes you. And believe me, you're either being brainwashed by yourself or by the world. So be sure to check it out, jakeshypnosis.com, right there down below. And let's dive right into this video. Okay, so the reason I say that this might be the most important thing that is ignored by the media is because it changes literally the entire world. We've always believed in the Newtonian model of physics, which was just basically this seemingly complex way of saying that we believed that we lived in a physical universe. And we thought that particles were the building blocks, atoms were these building blocks of the whole universe. And we thought energy was this kind of unexplainable side phenomena of physical matter, of the physical world. And then they kind of chalked up the study of matter to science, and then the study of energy and spirit to religion. But the entire idea is fundamentally wrong, because quantum physics has shown us now that there's things even smaller. There's subatomic particles, but when you get to the most basic level, all it is 99.99999% empty space, an atom, 99% empty space. And then they found out that these subatomic particles would sometimes appear and sometimes they would disappear. And then when they would shoot these light particles, sometimes they would go in one direction and the other. And they realized how they actually manifested, how these particles manifested in reality, in third dimensional reality. It depends. Sometimes it's a wave, sometimes it's an energy that moves into another dimension essentially, and sometimes it's a particle. So they found out that consciousness literally creates and affects reality down to the subatomic level. And the reason that this is so important is because it shows us that instead of just being these little meat suits running around that are victims to our environment and our world, that we're actually much more creators or co-creators together in our reality. And the reason that I think this is ignored is because all of a sudden, you don't need all of these control systems of the world. Once you realize, like, holy cow, I actually create my reality. And then kind of the whole game, the whole control system of the game just basically falls apart. And, you know, I remember being a freshman in college, and then was really upset with like the government and all these things. But then I stumbled across like old declassified documents about the power of consciousness. And it just fascinated me, because you find out that basically you create your reality, literally. But the whole system runs off people believing they can't make any money, people believing they're not that smart, people believing they're bound to their circumstances, people believing they're bound to their past, people giving up all of their power and free will to politicians and institutions and big, huge mega churches and whatever it is, giving our power to outside authorities. And then that's how this whole world just continues to perpetuate itself. But what happens if you and I realize that we create reality? What happens if instead of just believing it, we actually test that in our own lives? Instead of you just saying like, yeah, here's this guy Jake, and like, yeah, I'm not sure whether I believe him or not. He might be lying. Instead, just do a thought experiment. For the next 30 days, set a thought experiment to create or attract an omen or a synchronicity into your life that has to do with something that you want to create in life. It might have to do with finances, it might have to do with sales, it might have to do with a new job or career, it might have to do with meeting new people, new resources, new ideas, romance, it might have to do with new adventures. The list is endless, but set an omen for the next 30 days to receive a sign, or 60 days to receive a sign from the universe that you start to realize the power of intention is a physical force in the universe. Your thoughts are literally a force of energy, but they're vibrating at a frequency that's beyond the spectrum of visible light that you can see. So you really look more like a field of energy that's shooting off frequencies, just like a radio broadcasting tower is emitting frequencies, but your frequencies are your thoughts, and your thoughts are a force. They're a cosmic force. Bob Proctor says that thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space. Because if energy is never created or destroyed, that means all possibilities are happening in different dimensions simultaneously. Go back to the observer effect and subatomic particles. Sometimes the particles would be in this dimension and sometimes they would be gone. They would be a wave, and a wave of energy, they would disappear into another dimension. Well, because energy is never created or destroyed, there's a field, a divine mind, a quantum field that holds all energy and all possibilities. And we can access that field literally at any single time because energy is never created or destroyed. It's always available to us. And that's the key. That's the secret that basically keeps 99% of us living the rat race our entire life. So you go, well, let me do a thought experiment. Let me see what I'm really capable of. Because, right, the world's getting crazier every single day. It's getting more interesting every single day. Do a thought experiment and direct your energy towards what you can control. Your financial life, your health, your happiness, your relationships, your sense of fulfillment and purpose in life. These are the things that you can control. So then you ask yourself, am I creating my reality, or is my reality being controlled by my outside environment? But what most people do is they believe, due to the way society is constructed, that the reason they don't have what they want is something out there's fault. It's a certain group of people, it's the way the system's set up. They've been taught to believe that they are just in a Newtonian model of physics. They are just a little physical body, and the world has victimized them in some way. But as soon as you do that, you give up the power of creation. You move from creating your reality to being controlled by your reality. But when we take a step back and we connect to our higher faculties and we go, I create my reality. I create it. And then you go, well, I didn't create myself to be a debt slave nincompoop. Well, the reality is we've either created, promoted, or allowed every single thing in our entire life. And one of the ways that we did that is we still have free will. And I think what most people do when they come across this information, or maybe somebody even says it's a conspiracy or whatever, but what happens is people get angry about it. And they go, those 1%, the controlling engineers, the banks, man, yeah, I don't like them. And they get all fired up about it. But what I found, that I've been there before. And I realized that ultimately, I was a participant in it unconsciously. I was surrendering my free will. I was surrendering my free will in the story of my financial life by what was in my bank account. I was surrendering my future of possibilities that I imagined based off of my report cards, or other people told me I was smart, or other people told me I wasn't smart, or my degrees or lack thereof. The outside world had officially controlled me, and that's what they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to go to Google and type in quantum physics. They don't want you to go on Google. That's why you should use DuckDuckGo anyways for that. But they don't want you to go online and type in neuroplasticity. Shit, we haven't even gotten to neuroplasticity. This video could be 9 hours long. So if you're still watching this video, make sure you hit the like button, give me a comment down below. Let me know if you're still enjoying it so far and you're still with me. I know it's a long video. I appreciate you watching this video so far all the way through, because I know there's 10 million other videos out there on the internet. But what I was saying was DuckDuckGo. They don't want you to type in neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change itself. So all these neurological things we've memorized and then we've thought of as our reality, and they're wired into our brain, that control your personality, your disposition, your finances, your emotional state, your relationships, your happiness, all of these things. Neuroplasticity means that the brain is plastic, it's changeable, it's malleable. We can actually reshape not only our brains, but in crazy examples that neuroscientists are writing books about, like in the Brain That Changes Itself book, In The Brain That Changes Itself, it starts right away in the first 20 pages. You read all these stories you couldn't believe about people using neuroplasticity to make other functions of their brain that they weren't born with be performed by other parts of their brain. All of these crazy things, people like regaining sight and all of these types of things by activating cells in other parts of their brain. Neuroplasticity shows us we control not only our outside reality, but we control down to our cells. Our entire reality is controlled by neuroplasticity. So I titled this video, "This could be one of the most important stories that's largely ignored," but it's not just ignored by the media. It's not just ignored by the education system. It's ignored by like every single major institutional gatekeeping system of our society, yet we've known this stuff forever. That when you create reality, well, why, first of all, let's answer why we aren't taught this. Well, think about it. Who runs all the advertisements that go out on the news and the media? It's all the companies that want to keep you from knowing this type of stuff so we stay within the debt-based monetary system. That controls the education system. That's what gets the grants in science. Here's a quote, speaking of science, by Max Planck. Max Planck won the Nobel Prize. He is considered the father of quantum physics. He said, quote, "As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you as a result of my research about the atoms this much. There is no matter as such. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particles of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter." So that quote was from 1913. 1913, that's how long we've known this stuff. That's how long they've known this stuff, that there's no matter as such, meaning touch something right now, wherever you are, whether it's touch your face or touch your leg or touch the chair you're sitting on. I'll touch this wood right here. You could touch a cup, your phone, a computer. That thing looks real, it looks like matter, it looks physical. Max Planck says there's no matter as such, that it's all it is just energy moving at a speed of vibration that makes it appear to be solid. That's called the speed of visible light, and that's what holds a third dimensional reality together. So then the question is, if all of reality is controlled from that, then the question is, what limiting beliefs have you inherited from society that have controlled your life circumstances, that now that you realize how reality works, you are ready and willing to let go of? I'll give you an example from my own life. I dropped out of college, I learned all this stuff, I backpacked around the world, then I wrote this book about it, no one had published this book, so I sold the book out of the trunk of my car, and then I sold 20,000 copies, then I got a deal with Penguin Random House, the #1 English publishing company in the world, and it was this big, cool, fun journey. But I wasn't where I wanted to be, and one of my mentors, he finally said, "Why do you always tell me how old you are?" Because I wrote my first book when I was 19, so I'd always try to, I'm 19, I'm 21, and I'd always try to make that pitch like that to the publisher. And he said, "You're so attached to the suit that your soul is housed in. You believe this idea that you're young, and that's why you're not successful." And I realized that I had been conditioned to believe that as a 20-something-year-old, I couldn't make it in the publishing world. First of all, because I was also a college dropout, but second of all, because I was young And so I believed this idea. I realized that using my own free will, I surrendered to that idea. I let that idea control me, and then it created my reality. And I lived under what I call an invisible ceiling. And an invisible ceiling is a limit on your personal reality and your life circumstances. It's an invisible ceiling because it's controlled by consciousness, and it appears to be controlled by the outside world, by reality, by rational thinking, which is, I'm too young. So I want you to think about what one of those are. The rationalization, rationalize. We ration these lies to ourselves that we believe, I'm too young. So I want you to think of one of those invisible ceilings for yourself. And I want to go on this journey with you where instead of just believing what I say, put it to the test for the next 30, 60 days and start to attack one of those invisible ceilings in your life. That invisible ceiling might have to do with how much money you earn in a month. It might have to do with your health. It might have to do with how much you exercise. It might have to do with the quality of the people that you attract into your life. It might have to do with romance and dating. It might have to do with jobs and where you live. Set an invisible ceiling that you're willing to get an omen from the universe that you create your reality. So I want to thank you for watching this video all the way through. I just dropped my microphone. I think that's an omen from the universe that came instantly to let me know to end this video. So if you enjoy it, make sure you hit the like button on this video, bell notification to get notified for future videos. Even if you're already subscribed, got to double check, have you hit the bell notification. Right there down below is my free success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's my free success hypnosis right there down below to reprogram your thinking. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Let me know if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.